Diddly chew. I love this gum, but I've always wondered how did it go from stick and square gum to shredded gum? Whoa, where am I?
Nothing beats a baseball game, especially with the good old-fashioned chew.
What are you doing? Hey, try this. Cancer-free.
So that's where it all started. But the bigger question is, where did bubblegum originate? Where am I?
I can't see anything.
Graver, I don't think we're in the stadium anymore.
I think we're in space, but I was trying to figure out how bubblegum started.
Space has absolutely nothing to do with bubblegum, Caleb.
Wait, I think I get it. Nearly 14 billion years ago, everything started.
What do you mean?
He's talking about the Big Bang, you duster.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, the whole universe started as a speck, and for some unknown reason it began to expand, and eventually exploded, creating space, matter, and time.
So you mean to tell me that bubblegum was created by the Big Bang?
Well, kind of. You see, as clouds of dust and gas formed from the expansion of the universe, everything began to cool.
Yeah, and because of the variations in temperature and density, stars began to form and group together to form galaxies.
Once again, still not explaining how bubblegum was made.
Well, the nuclear reactions in these stars created elements such as hydrogen.
Yeah, and from the formation and fusion of hydrogen, we got helium.
Oh yeah. Then, as stars die, they see their supply of helium and convert it to carbon.
Now we get to the bubblegum part.
Sugar. A product in most bubblegum has a chemical formula of C6H12O6. 6 parts carbon, 12 parts hydrogen, and 6 parts oxygen.
And carbon and hydrogen were both formed from stars in space.
Exactly. Therefore, the basic ingredients in bubblegum started in space.
So now that we've established that, where do we travel next?
The forest, of course.
Huh? Sam, why are you in the forest? And why is everything black and white?
Because we're in the past, duh.
Okay, I get that part, but why the forest?
Well, the trees around us are mastic trees, sapodilla trees, and spruce trees, aka what the first gum products were made from.
You mean to tell me that people used to chew on trees?
No. Each tree has its own sap or resin that can be extracted either by tapping into the tree or cutting off the bark.
Oh, kind of like how syrup is made.
Exactly.
But why did people need gum way back then?
Well, each culture had its own reason.
For example, Greeks were known to chew on substances called mastish, collected from the mastic tree itself in order to clean teeth and sweeten their breath. Mayans, however, chewed on a substance called chicle, which is derived from the sap of a sapodilla tree. Although the Mayans may have used it for similar reasons as the Greeks, they also would cook and drive it into a substance they called cha, which was thought to quench thirst and rid of hunger. Lastly, the American Indians of New England used the resin of spruce trees to create a chewable candy. This tradition was eventually passed on to settlers and became the gateway for modern-day bubblegum. Although there were various other types of chewing gum available, the resin of spruce trees proved to be the most efficient and logical due to the fact that by the 1930s, a quarter of the sapodilla trees had been destroyed, and chicle trees needed an average of 4 to 8 years between tapping.
A bit of a step up from black and white, I see.
Well, where are we now?
The year 1869 to be exact.
Why 1869?
Yeah, I thought we were done in the past.
Well, not just yet. 1869 actually was a very important year in the history of bubblegum.
Why is that?
This year, not only did William Semple create the first bubblegum patent, but it was also the year bubblegum had its first big boom.
What do you mean by that?
Well, in 1869,
Mexican General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna contacted American inventor Thomas Adams to convert chicle into a usable rubber base. However, after much experimenting with the product, Adams realized that chicle would have made a better chewing gum than a rubber substance. After boiling it and hand rolling it into a usable form, Adams convinced many drugstores to begin carrying his homemade chewing gum. Adams gum sold out nationwide, even after producing 5 tons of it daily. Adams also became the first to patent a machine to manufacture gum in 1871. The machine kneaded the gum and ran it out in long, thin strips that could be cut off by druggists, who were the most common direct seller of chewing gum in its earliest forms. Modernly, most gum products are produced in a similar fashion to each other. They start off as a paraffin gum base, but because of the short-lasting flavor of the paraffin wax, certain enhancements are made. After the gum base is melted at a temperature of 240 degrees Fahrenheit, it achieves a similar consistency to syrup. The syrup-like gum base is then filtered through a complex system of mesh screens and filters. Next, it moves on to the mixers, which can hold up to 2,000 pounds each. These mixers are where the additional ingredients begin to combine. Powdered sugar, corn syrup, softeners, and either natural or artificial flavorings are all added to make the gum more enjoyable for the consumer. From the mixers, the gum continues on to the cooling belt, where currents of cool air lessen the high temperatures. After it is cooled, it is moved to a machine specifically designed to make the gum smoother and finer in texture. This is the basic process almost every type of gum follows. However, the cutting and manufacturing process varies based on the size, shape, and type of gum desired.
Are we done yet? I'm kind of missing modern day.
Yeah, let's head back to modern day. I'm really craving a slushie.
modern day it is.
Man, does it feel good to be back, boys?
Tell me about it. Hey, I was doing some research on this whole history of gum thing, and did you know that Wrigley was first handed out for free with boxes of soap?
Yeah, until people realized that the gum was better than the soap.
Who cares? Wrigley Chew is where it's at anyways.
Today we're going to learn about the little big history of bubblegum.
Ah.